Okay, I know what you're thinking. Abrax, what are you doing? Patch notes came out yesterday. This is old news. Well, I was recording a video yesterday and I kind of had a bit of a accident. That could be just throwing coffee everywhere. But I still wanted to get my thoughts out there, so let's get into the video. Take it from here, past me. First, a thank you to my supporters over on Patreon, more on how you can support at the end of the video. Hello, I am your friendly neighborhood Abrax, and welcome to another Division 2 video. In this one, we're taking a look at the Year 5 PTS second phase patch notes, which have been released later today. It's always nice when I get home from work and I've got something like this waiting for me. Digging into the patch notes, we start with Descent. Obviously, Descent is one of the main focuses of this PTS. It's a new game mode coming with Year 5, and they want to make sure it's right, so there is a lot of focus going on here. Let's have a look what they've changed. So first, post-Nemesis levels difficulty. Okay, based on the feedback we received during the PTS Phase 1, post-Nemesis difficulty was dramatically increased up to 39% compared to the previous version. This is fantastic, to be honest. I thought Descent in general was too easy. I do have a video with my thoughts from the previous phase of the PTS if you want to check that out, but something I did say, it was just a bit too easy. So it is nice to see that difficulty is going to be ramped up, but I have not jumped in game yet, so I have no idea how it's going to feel. Looking forward to that. Difference between single and co-op experience. Better balance between health, damage and armor. Increased difference between veteran, elite, boss level enemies. Adjust the rational level design system used for balancing and difficulty scaling. I'm not sure what they mean by that last one, but it's going to be interesting. Next up, we have hazards. Hazards in the Descent were things like fire, EMP pulses, things to just try and make your journey overall more difficult. Changed the placement and affected areas for some of the hazards, making them more intrusive, visible during gameplay. I don't think they needed to be more visible, but they were too easy to just overcome. I found in most places, you just got like a small patch of fire, which you just walked around. It wasn't really anything game-changing. I feel if you got the room with fire and without fire, there wouldn't be a huge amount of difference. So, if they're making the areas larger, that'd be great. Remove the option to bypass hazards from the shop. Okay, I didn't mind there being an option to remove the hazards, but I did think it needed to be much more expensive. Being a roguelite, being able to make little things like that and purchase little things like that kind of make it. So if you really don't like the hazards, you're able to, drop some cash and make them go away, but I think it should have been a more expensive option, but I don't see a problem with dropping them overall. And they've increased the frequency of occurrence, so more hazards, that's fine, it just makes the game a little bit more different. Descent XP and rewards. Starting with the PTS Phase 2, the new reward system will be in place. XP earned for completing Descent will be split into 3 categories. XP awarded to players that have not yet reached level 40, XP awarded to players that have reached level 40 and moved on to the SHD level progression path, seasonal XP to help level 40 players progress through the seasonal reward track. So basically, if you need XP, you get XP. It just works like the open world or in missions. If you're under level 40, you get standard. If you're over level 40, you get it toward your SHD. And if you're over level 40 and the season is active, you also get it towards your season reward track. So, rewards. This was a big conversation point of the previous PTS, because obviously we had no idea what to expect. Descent takes a while to play through, so whatever they give us has to feel rewarding. It has to be worth the time investment. So let's take a look what's planned. Rewards are based on the maximum Descent loops reached and comprised. Rewards are based on the maximum Descent loops reach and comprise of sealed caches that will be sent to the player's inventory upon completing the Descent run and returning to their main character. Please note that the level mentions refer to the main game character outside of Descent. So if you're between level 1 to 29, you get a field proficiency cache with standard, specialized and superior quality items. Green, blue, purple. So that's if you're under 30, and you're looking to just level up, that's just some extra gear to help you on your way. Then there's different crafting material caches. Crafting material caches containing crafting materials of all sorts. From 11 to 29, you get a weapon crafting cache, level to 29 gear crafting, 11 to 39 recalibration crafting cache, and 30 to 40 you get a crafting material cache. Then at 11 to 40, you get an exotic cache excluding raid exotics. So, sorry, still no raid exotics in the main loot pool. And then we have a brand new cache, which is the simulation cache. If you're between 30 to 39, the simulation cache will contain superior and high-end quality items, purple and gold or yellow. If you're level 40, the simulation cache will contain high-end quality items with a 15% chance of dropping gear set and named gear and weapons. That's great, that's more loot. We all like loot. And 40 plus new reconstructed cache containing named weapons and gear from season 1, 2, 3 and 4. Something I find really interesting here, 40 plus, is that referring to the SHD levels? It has to be. Otherwise, the first thing I thought when I saw 40 plus, I thought, with year 5, are we getting a sneaky bunch of levels? Maybe they're going to take us up to 50 with the new DLC, the new story DLC that's coming? But I don't know. It might just be referring to the SHD levels. But that all sounds good to me. I am assuming you get one of each. So if you are in your SHD and you complete a run, I'm assuming that you get a weapon crafting, gear crafting, recalibration, crafting material, exotic, and a simulation cache, and then a reconstructed cache? That would feel good. That's a lot of stuff. If it is one of these things, that's not great, but to me it sounds like you get one of each, which is good. That feels like a good amount of stuff considering the time you put in. But again, we're going to have to see, because you are not getting any loot when you play Descent. Nothing drops, so everything you get is coming straight from these caches. We'll have to see. I'll do a couple of runs, I'll see how it feels, see if it feels rewarding enough, and I'm sure if they get enough feedback saying, nah, we want more, they will add more. But we're going to have to see. I will get in game and probably give you a video about it. Next, we are on to stability improvements and other changes. Why am I clapping? Improved stability to prevent crashes. That's great. Updated talent descriptions. Items are no longer shuffled in the NSA store. Added NSA store tutorial. The NSA store is going to be a store that you can spend Descent currencies in, very much like we have the Countdown store. What else have we got? Added a pop-up message when pressing depart. That's great. Some people were saying it felt weird to leave Descent, so... Lucy? Excuse me, just 1 minute. Sorry, the rabbit was dismantling the flat. Added missing sounds and various sound design improvements. Fixed the NPC spawn. Fixed the wave counter starting from 1 instead of 0. Fixed the revive token UI in the shop. Added missing start simulation and matchmake buttons from the AR panel of Descent near the White House for Xbox. Added departure timer. That's great. Now we've got Year 5 Season 1 Broken Wings talents. The perfect companion talent is used on the named chess Henry. Was not a mistake and we intend to keep it. If you're confused about this bit of text here, it's because companion is a backpack talent, so to have it on the chest, it's a little bit weird. And I'm curious to see if this is a sign of things to come. Are we going to start seeing more talents migrate from chest to back and back to chest? Will we be able to run perfect vigilance on our chest with vigilance on our back? I'm up for that. I think that opens up some pretty interesting builds, or some pretty specialized builds, should I say. So I'm up for that. I quite like this idea. I might mess around with seeing if we can make almost like a companion build using the chest and the backpack, hook up with a couple of teammates and just see if we can kind of buff the damage that way, make a bit of a companion build. Revamped the damage reduction from skills to damage reduction from all sources, so the charging talent won't affect other damage dealing talents and grenades. Okay. Updated the defibrillator talent description. Updated the overcharge and safe charge talent descriptions. Fixed an issue with the defibrillator talent not activating on newly equipped items. Added Thunderstrike talent to Recalibration library. Fixed the issue with Thunderstrike talent and its perfect version amplifying damage from all sources. Fixed an issue with the charge talent speed boosting agents in co-op when near other agents. Gear and weapons. Changed the incoming skill damage to incoming damage and lowered the value for the Cavalier gear set, which was called the Paladin in the first phase of the PTS. Changed it to incoming damage. Talent charging for each second spent out of cover during combat, agents will get 5% reduced incoming damage, max 40. Reduced from 50 to 40, but it's no longer from skills, it's from incoming damage. That's quite a big deal. 40% is nothing to scoff at. Wow, yeah, okay. That could be... Just throwing coffee everywhere.
The next day.
And I think this is where we left off. So, gear and weapons. Changed the incoming skill damage to incoming damage and lowered the value for the Cavalier gear set, which was previously known as the Paladin. Talent charging. For each second spent out of cover during combat, agents will get 5% reduced incoming damage, max 40. Reduced from 50 to 40. 40 is still nothing to scoff at. 40% reduction in incoming damage from all sources is quite a lot, but we will have to see how it plays when we hit the main game. Talent charged. While fully charged, gain immunity to any movement speed debuff, and share hazard protection and the damage reduction with all allies for 10 seconds. So you have the potential to give your entire team 40% damage reduction. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. This will be a very nice support build to run in a group, especially a raid group. Chest bonus, talent overcharging, increases charger match incoming damage protection to 50%, reduced from 70 to 50. Cavalier gear set has the correct name, so Paladin must have been a placeholder. Now we've got the Cavalier. Remove the die slot from the St. Elmo's Engine Exotic AR, which is the shock round AR coming with Year 5. Fix the issue with the St. Elmo's Engine Exotic AR obtained from the PTS crafting cache having no attributes and core attributes. Yeah. The Shocker Punch Exotic Holster no longer has max core attributes. Fix the Cavalier Holster and Mask mod slot placement. Named weapons from the PTS crafting cache no longer have the base gear rarity grey. Okay, I missed that one. And finally, added missing visual representation mod icons for the St. Elmo's Engine Exotic AR in the inventory. Now let's take a look at some of the quality life improvements. I like these are usually good. First up, we have a conflict XP rebalance, which is needed. Also added SHD XP progression. I've not played conflict in a pretty long time, to be honest. I've tried it. I was a big fan of Last Stand and Skirmish in the Division 1. Since playing the Division 2, I just can't get into conflict. I don't know what it is about it. I just don't enjoy it as much. I'm looking for a reason to play it, because I want to get to Conflict 100, get the cosmetics along the way, but whenever I jump in, I just don't have a good time with it. Maybe this having a bit more of an XP grind, that might add something to it, especially if they start adding different rewards. I know that's on the known issues board, try and get targeted loot in there. We'll have to see, I'll have to jump in, try it out. What else have we got? The Living World Activities XP gain revamp. This will be interesting. I know they changed the resource convoys, everyone got very mad about that. They do want to revert it back to a lower amount, but they're looking at balancing the whole open world. I am concerned it's just going to nuke it into the ground and no one's going to farm it anymore. Again, we're going to have to see how that plays out, but at the end of the day, I think it will kill resource convoy farming. Added the grants tab to make the compensation process more streamlined and items easier to obtain. So I'm assuming in the stash we're going to have a new tab there. Grants tab can be found in the store. Oh, okay, fair enough. Added an option to allow players to change mission difficulty regardless of the world difficulty setting. Added quick grenade selection menu. I did find this in the PTS, so holding G for PC and hold D-pad left for consoles. This brings up a little UI icon and you can pick between your two grenade types. I think this is heading towards the specialization revamp. I think during that revamp we'll be able to have different grenade types, maybe pick our own different grenade types, because it seems weird that they'd add this just for the sake of 2. But we'll have to see, Added an option to mark apparel items as favorites. I love that. Added directive selection for raids. I love that. Added the option to show selected mission directives on the mega map. Fair play. Added the possibility to hold escape space to skip videos and epilepsy warnings. Finally skip the logo scenes at the beginning of the game, that's great. Added a new in loadout section at the bottom of the item detail window in the inventory, under a gear pieces, talent and mod slots to display the current loadouts where the selected item is present. Quite interesting, okay. Added the hide show mask and hide show signature weapon buttons in the inventory when hovering over the specific titles tabs. That's quite interesting, so it saves you having to jump through a bunch of menus. It's just there straight on the inventory screen. Added a notification widget for modding primary, secondary, and sidearm weapon skin slot, which appears if the player has any custom skin available for that weapon in store. The notification also has a quick button that directs you to the weapon skin store tab. Added visual feedback for locked grenades. When browsing through the grenade menu in the inventory, players will see a notification which lets them know if the selected grenade can be equipped or not. Okay. And then we have known issues for the PTS. There's not many, but we'll have a quick skim through them. Missing text highlights in various talent descriptions. Placeholder image. The PTS crafting cache does not mention the new TU-18 gear. Okay, so the cache is dropping the gear even though it's not there. The charged and charging talents can be stacked in co-op, so that's not intentional, but it will be in the PTS. St. Elmo's engines stacks can be earned with shock ammo from the talent. Only standard ammo should count towards the 100 stacks. That's such a shame. It was so OP in the previous PTS. You'd get a magazine with 70 shock rounds. All 70 would count towards the stack, so you'd have 30 rounds, then you had another 70 shock rounds. We all knew that was OP and it wasn't supposed to be that way, but it was really, really fun. And I'm a little bit gutted, but you don't want broken things in the game, so fair enough. In Descent, level 40 players with SHD progression unlocked may receive a much higher amount of XP than designed after completing any number of the Descent game mode loops. So currently the XP in the Descent is broken. That's fine. If you see any information out there about this being a great XP farm, take it with a pinch of salt. We don't know how much XP we're actually going to get from the Descent yet. A door will automatically open if you wait too long in the corridor. On DARPA maps, please interact with the door console before entering the room. And finally, we have quality of life improvements. The Living World Activities Rebalancing Revamp is only available to players who have their difficulty set to heroic. Please be aware that since we do not have difficulties activated in the PTS build, and players should join in with their own difficulty settings. Oh, okay. I was wondering that. I did have a mess around with the PTS, and I couldn't change my open world difficulty, so it's just disabled. The ones who don't have heroic on won't be affected by the XP revamp. Items claimed from the compensation vendor won't drop on the ground if the player has their inventory or mailbox full. Fair play. Okay, so not bad. I am looking forward to putting more time into this and getting some more hours, see how it all plays out. There's some interesting stuff. I'm interested to play around with this new gear set. Originally, in the first phase of the PTS, I did try it, I looked at it and I thought, no biggie. At the end of the day, what is reduction to incoming skill damage really going to do? But reduction to overall damage or all incoming damage is quite a big deal. We don't know to what extent it's going to be a big deal. It might be game breaking. You might see everybody in PvP running around wearing this set. It might be nothing. We're going to have to wait and see. I am looking forward to trying that out. I'm going to get into Descent, see how the rewards feel. Like I said, the Descent is quite a time investment. So it has to feel rewarding for the time you put in. And finally, I'm looking forward to playing around with some of these quality of life improvements. Little things, the grenade selection menu, that's pretty cool. Conflict XP rebalance, directives for raids, apparel items marked as favourite. There's some good stuff in here. I'm going to have a play around, see how it is. So that is it for the patch notes. What do you think? Have you had a chance to play the PTS yet? Or have you been watching it on Twitch maybe? Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, a massive thank you to my supporters over on Patreon, and if you would like to join them, you can support the channel for as little as £1 a month, or consider becoming a channel member here on YouTube. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.